I understand because I actually, before turning fully professional as a musician, I used to be a consultant. I was working in like for very large companies in the world, in Europe and in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And I was living a life like that, because in the business world you can't be yourself. It's impossible.
No.
Which is actually, I mean, it is not a disadvantage, because it in that world, because you have to play by the rules, it makes sense. You can't just be anyone you want, because you have to keep a certain standard, right? To be able to communicate with everyone
Yes.
without offending anyone. Because like I used to talk to Saudi Arabians, and then Bulgarians, and then Egyptians, and then Hungarians,
You're neutral.
or Germans, or
Yes.
Turks, or British people. These are all different. Yes, they all operate in a globalized business market. Yes, it's not like we're not entirely different human beings.
Yeah.
But still, like you can't do like, I make really strange jokes. I can't do that when I'm a consultant.
You can't.
Because it will not be received well by everyone.
No.
Yeah, like in my real life, when I do a joke like this, and if the person gets offended, even though I don't say anything offensive, they feel that usually tells me that person, there's nothing wrong with that person. They're who they are, but I probably won't be able to become friends with them, because they have a different set of values and communication preferences and ways. So it usually means that, I mean, we are not a good match in a friendship way. But of course, I don't have to be friends with everyone. I actually like the idea of not being friends with everyone. I like the fact that some people don't like me, because I'm always very skeptical about people who are liked by everyone.
Yeah, it's the
Because
artist.
that means that means you are acting. That means you're catering for everyone's needs. Like, if I see you, if I see that you need a certain way of being, I do that, then I'm acting. It's like your job, like what you do, because you see your client.
Yeah.
You have to be the one they want you to be, not what you want to be. It's the same. If I make friends like that, that means, as you said, I'm saying the same thing you said in the beginning. Actually, like they're not real friends. Because I'm just being like pretending to be what it's actually. If you do this, it's kind of I think it's kind of on the brink of like being a sociopath, in a way, like, because you're like always nice, always, but then you might kill someone suddenly,
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But you feel like today, today in general, not today, but in general, you stay as you are, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, being a musician gives you that freedom.
That is true.
Yes, I'm sure there are some organizations, some venues who would never let me play at their venue because they don't like the way I am. Maybe, I don't know. But that's fine. I mean, there's nothing I can, because I have pretended to be someone else for so long in the business life. I don't want to do that anymore. And and I have enough friends. I mean, I have really, like, it's not that people
Artist friend, no?
Not only, I have friends from all over the place. I have a good friend in Berlin who she studied physics and biology, but she's now an AI data scientist working on climate change.
Yeah, but what I felt is I had a lot of like artist friends in France. What I felt is that they all good artists. They all have a social problem.
Oh yeah.
They're good artists, but you're not. If you don't have a social problem, you're not an artist. Like, it's kind of that level. I don't want to exaggerate, but they all have a social problem. Like, they have a real like a weird side. Sometimes, no.
They can, but that's why. I mean, that is kind of a given for being this is a huge generalization, but usually creative people, like people who can do abstractions and imaginations, are usually like their brain is wired differently. Yes. Like, I think I am somewhere in between.
Okay.
And like I can create, but I can also, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a normal person. No, I'm not. I don't know who is. Is there, what is normal anyway? Like, normal as far as I'm concerned is acting. Because we're acting, right? There are norms set by religions, culture, values, whatever you name it, in any given society. There are norms in South Korea. There are norms in Turkey. There are norms in Zimbabwe.
Subjective.
There are norms in Venezuela. These countries, even local norms. Like Busan is more conservative than Seoul. My friends tell me.
You know well.
Yeah, it's like that. They probably have a slightly different set of values there than in Seoul, which is more. It's much bigger. Much open, I don't know. I mean, I won't say anything about Korea because I don't know the country yet. Although I've spent here 20 days, so I kind of have a very small understanding.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, if we adapt ourselves to these values, then we're not ourselves. We are being normal, norm being standard.
Yeah.
But again, the friends we make, are they real? Or are they just like, or are we just wanting to be accepted? Because some people do this, like if they want to be accepted by everyone, they just shapeshift into what the other person expects from them. Artists usually don't do this, I think, or sometimes they can't even do this.
There are some people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's basically the safest thing is to not generalize. I mean, I do a lot of generalizations, but
me too.
I do generalizations for the sake of recognizing the exceptions.
Yeah.
Right. My generalizations is always aware of the fact that there are a lot of exceptions.
I mean, there are some people who think really negatively about the generalization.
Say it in French. I don't speak French, but it's
generalisation.
Exactly, it's the same word.
Yeah, generalization. But I think I don't know. I'm not really racist. I'm not really sexist, but not that level. But I use generalization to surviving in the society because it's good tool. Maybe because it's my life experience. So how is useful my life experience? Sometimes it's useful with the form of generalization.
I mean,
not extremely, but it's useful.
It is. I think. I mean, I do this a lot, so this is also about me. I think generalizations are, in some ways, a form of self-defense. We generalize.
Yeah.
And like when I first arrived in Korea.
Yeah.
I read that I'm a queer person, and I read that Korea is not very queer friendly. Right? This is what I read.
Yeah.
So I immediately made this generalization: Koreans will hate me. I should be careful. Nothing happened. Right? Yeah. So that was a defensive generalization. Like I should watch out. Like people can be aggressive towards me because I'm wearing a skirt. I sometimes wear makeup,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there was this old lady or old man looking at me in a weird way, but that happens all over the world. So like that generalization maybe made me feel safer or maybe more afraid even. I don't know, because I was always like, someone might punch me and stuff like that.
At least you can accept. Okay, you can see potentially what can be happen, like is the question of security. I don't know.
Yeah, but nothing happened. Really.
Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah,
nothing. I mean, I'm also not a very small person, so people have to think twice. I'm not a fighter or anything like that. But I'm not small, so
yeah.
But no, nothing happened. I mean, I had no act of aggression. Nothing. Neither I was hardly visible in Busan because I was always on this island where there was no one.
Yeah.
But in Daejeon, I was also not really in the streets. But in Seoul, nothing. It's.
But I don't know, because it's not been a long time. Sorry, you wanted to say something.
No, but also I heard from friends that this is the case in many other cultures as well. If a culture is against a certain way of being, like queer, female, whatever you say.
Yeah.
If they are against that in the when it is about the local population, like if a Korean person looks like me, they might get more hate or aggression than me because I'm a foreigner. Right?
Yeah, you're not in the
I
game.
mean, my experience in this is not even a generalization. It's just the way we experienced it so far is that as a foreigner, as a non-Korean,
Yeah.
you don't really exist here. You're transparent. People just don't see you.
Yeah.
Right?
You're an observer.
Yeah. No, not even an observer. You just don't exist. Like you just travel, you know.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. It's just this alien particle that everything avoids.
Yeah.
I don't see this as, I mean, at first I perceived it as unfriendliness. I just like they're not friendly or unfriendly. You just don't exist. I mean, they just avoid you. I don't know the reason behind this. And I am not offended by it anymore. At first it was a bit strange, but now I don't care. Because if this is how they want to act, it's fine. I mean, when you talk to them, it's not that they don't talk back to you. And my Korean is very limited, so I can't really talk to many people. But yeah, I mean, the people that, yeah, I mean, this was also kind of a generalization at first that we built in our minds. Koreans don't like foreigners and they don't want us here. It's not really the case. They don't care, I think. Or maybe they do, but who knows what they're talking behind our backs. Sometimes that's also the case. Like in Germany, in Berlin, because I'm Turkish, but I don't look Turkish and I look queer. No one looks Turkish in Turkey because it's a different story.
Okay.
Because like I sometimes hear very conservative Turks talk behind my back, calling me a faggot, whatever, like, you know. Because they can never imagine that someone like me could be Turkish. For them, a Turkish man is a man, you know, with a big dick, very strong arms, makes lots of money, drives a good car, has 50 women adoring him. You know, that's the imagination of the Turkish man.
Not in my head. But exactly.
No, but this is unfortunate how they imagine. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit. I'm caricaturizing a bit. But, you know, this is more or less the thing. There's this macho, sexist, paternalistic culture.
Yeah, that part, yes.
Yeah. And so maybe they're also talking behind it. But it's okay. I mean, we're just visitors here. They are what they are. We are what we are.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I will leave soon. We might come back. We might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So it's fine.
Yeah, I have one Turkish friend who came to Korea as a refugee because she said that she's like a bisexual, and then she like succeed to declare herself as a refugee in Korea. So she got the visa to stay in Korea. Okay. It's really interesting because for me a refugee visa is only for like some people who come from a war country or something like this, but as a bisexual, it's really interesting.
Did she apply as a bisexual woman, like as a queer, or is she Kurdish? Kurdish. Is she Turkish or Kurdish?
What is Kurdish?
Kurds are they're a minority in Turkey, a big minority, and they're highly oppressed by the Turkish governments. The current government as well as past governments, like it's so. And
how can I recognize?
You can ask her.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she can be. Maybe she was prosecuted by the state in Turkey. That's why she ran. I don't know. Okay. I don't know her story. Yeah. Anything can. I mean, there are many ways. There are many reasons for leaving Turkey. Yeah, there are many reasons, like political reasons. Yeah. Identity reasons.
Yeah, I went to like a military service because it's an obligation in Korea.
Also in Turkey, yeah.
Okay. So I even heard that in United States there's a lot of like refugee Korean, South Korean who like left from their country because they wanted to like avoid the military service. But I said to myself, wow, intelligent. They are really intelligent. Because I don't even imagine that I can be a refugee from that military service, because for me it became too normal to go to military service, but it's not. I mean, I learned at least something from there, so it's not really evil thing neither, but it's not the worst thing. But there are some people.
I mean, my military service was nothing. I did it as a musician, so it was, you know.
For how many long you were?
It wasn't long. It was just 5 months.
Ah,
Yeah. Because in Turkey, if you're a university graduate or higher, you do it either as a normal infantry, like as kind of a low-level sergeant
yeah.
for 6 months, which then decreases to 5 months because you have like these extra days you can go visit your parents. You don't use them, you accumulate them. So at the end, you just leave after 5 months.
Yeah.
Or you do it as a sub-lieutenant, like
Yeah.
a temporary lieutenant for 12 months, which is also a relatively comfortable way of doing military service, unless you're sent to a war zone which exists in Turkey, like the Kurdish Turkish civil war is still there. It's gotten relatively quiet in the past 2-3 years, but the tension is still there, and there are still skirmishes or conflicts or like fights between the Turkish army and the Kurdish guerrillas.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's one. You're not Kurdish, right?
I am not. No.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I know, I'm not ethnically. I don't know what
I
I'm.
can't recognize. Like,
No, but I mean, I am. My parents are both from like originally from the east, but I think they are all like ethnically Turkish. But as I said, in Turkey, although Turkish nationalists like to think that they are Turkish, ethnically, a lot of people are actually a mix of Turkish, Iranian, Armenian, Greek,
Okay.
Arab, Kurdish.
Yeah, I mean it's Europe.
It's because that place on Earth, this landmass called Anatolia or Asia Minor,
yeah.
it has been inhabited by so many people. So
Yeah.
the only people who have never really been there are Eastern Asians,
Yeah.
right? Like Southern Indians. Northern Indians have been there, and countries below, like Egypt and below, like the African countries.
Yeah.
They haven't really been like, they haven't settled up. Everyone else has been there somehow, including the Celts and the Vikings. You know,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like
Viking?
it's crazy. Yeah, it's like there were Celtic kingdoms in Asia Minor, like the Irish and the Scottish. Like
Before Turkey was it's called the Osman, right?
well, there's it's a bit complicated. The Turks who live in Turkey now are actually they came over from Iran, and those actually came over from Central Asia. And originally, the Turkic people are from Mongolia. Actually, as far as I know, South Koreans and Turks are distant relatives. Because there's also a lot of Mongolian people in South Korea, right?
So they're mixed with the Asian.
Turkish people are Asian. I am Western
But,
Asian.
You know,
I am I'm technically a Western Asian person.
Yeah, but they don't look like a Mongolian. But they're not.
There are
like
a lot of people in Turkey.
They're not like this.
Well, if you saw my baby photos, you would think that I'm a Japanese baby.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I mean you can't see because my eyelids are drooling, but I don't have European eyes.
Ah, okay.
Like I have, like it's not like your eyes, yes, but I also don't have an obviously African or Western or Russian or Slavic eyes. I have more Asian eyes, but it's Western Asian because we're so mixed in Turkey. The Asianness is, but if you look at Kazakh people or Turkmen people, they are also Turkish or Turkic. That's the right way.
Yeah,
they have pretty Asian-looking eyes, huh?
Yeah, because I saw in airport. I was each time that I went to France, I changed my airplane in Turkey.
Yeah,
Istanbul. So I saw a lot of like Uzbekistan people.
Yeah,
I got kind of shocked because they really look like Asian.
They are Asian.
Yeah, they are Asian, but for me, subjectively, beautifuler, more beautiful. I mean, I don't know. They are beautiful and handsome. I don't know.
I mean, I look. I think I think beauty is
subjective,
and also it exists everywhere. Like my wife and I, we walk in the streets of Seoul, and we're like amazed. Like these people are amazingly beautiful. We think.
Yeah.
Right. Not only women. Like doesn't matter. The gender is irrelevant. Like we find a lot of people very beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them may be constructed beauty. I don't know. Some of them might be natural. It's not also easy to tell, especially when they're wearing masks or like when they're covered in scars and stuff like that. But yeah, beauty is Turkish people can be beautiful. Mongolian people can. I have like one of my friends is actually in Berlin. She's Mongolian. She's like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And whenever she walks into the room, time stops. Like people just
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, like it's a hypothesis. Hypothesis. If you didn't have your wife and you go to Asia, like South Korea, it's possible that you get attracted by an Asian woman.
Of course.
Because I ask you that question because I didn't have any like a white people culture when I was living in South Korea. For the first time that I arrived to France. For me, like a female that are non-Asian, they're not even like female. I couldn't get attracted at all, like at all. First time, but it was just for 6 months. After 6 months,
then you got into action. Okay.
Yes.
Well, for me, of course, attraction is. I mean, finding someone beautiful does not equal that you find them attractive. Yes, you might find them sexually attractive, but for me, a relationship is not necessarily only sexual.
No.
Like if for me to find any person attractive, South Korean, whatever, it doesn't matter. I need to feel a connection with them, right?
Yeah.
Their physical appearance, I don't care. I mean, they don't have to be beautiful even. That's. I mean, because if you're looking for a one night stand,
Yes.
But like you might look for a beauty, like I'm having this one night thing. Let it be with a very beautiful person, right? I don't know. I don't really do night stands, so I can't really speak. But if I'm looking for someone to spend some or all of my life with, I actually don't really care about how they look. It can be easily with a fantastic, like South Korean woman with a beautiful character, loving heart. The rest is just details. I don't care. I mean, there are some cultural issues, like if someone is very religious, right? I may not be able to be with them. I can be very good friends with them, but because the value sphere might be very different, because my life will be very different than their life, we will probably not be good partners. Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe we will, right? Or like some other, like there are these values and beliefs and ways of approaching life. This is also true for someone who's always depressive. I could never be with someone that's always depressive, no matter how beautiful they are. I can't, right? So, I mean, I really like if I were not in love with my wife, if I came to Korea alone, if I met someone here that I really liked and felt attractive to, for whatever reason, I don't care. Her ethnicity,
her small eyes, and
I really don't. Huh?
Her small eyes and.
I mean, I find Asian eyes pretty attractive.
Me too. I find that.
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
I find them pretty attractive because what I really like is this is going to. I mean, I'm sorry if like when people smile here, their eyes become lines. That is the cutest thing. That is the sweetest thing.
Sometimes people do that on purpose.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like for example, like they do like this on purpose because they know that they is kind of attracted to some certain person. But I mean, I dated with some girl who was smile too like this.
Yeah.
So I just said that without aggression. I just said that, do you do that on purpose?
Yeah.
And she said that, no, you can't ask questions like this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, as I said, but I really, like, as far as attraction is concerned, I have never had, as far as I am aware of, I've never had physical preferences. I really don't care.
You're a mental person.
I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, I hope I don't care. I mean, maybe I do, because sometimes we do things without being aware of them, right?
That's true.
Yeah, I mean.
But what I wanted to ask you is, Do you know how many percentage of people are Muslim in Turkey?
A lot.
Like how many
I
percentage?
don't know. Officially, I think 95.
95.
I mean, maybe even more.
So
I didn't count.
So your family was kind of Islam?
No,
No,
my
not at all.
family is not religious.
Okay, so it's really exceptional family, right?
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, depends on where. If you live in an urban area or if you live in a suburban area, if you live in the countryside, it's like rural area. It depends, because rural areas usually in any country are more conservative, like they are more religious or more closed.
Yeah.
Big generalization, but it is a big.
That is
It is
true.
kind of a true generalization in any, because if you look at voting patterns in any country, the rural area usually was for the conservative parties,
Yes.
right? And this is the case in Turkey too. But like in Istanbul, where I'm from, such a family is not. It's probably not in the. It's not probably not a majority, but it's not a very small minority either. I really don't. I don't think about these things because I don't care.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think and like sitting like how many people are like my family. Like, I know that all of my friends have families like that, but my wife's families, for example, they're Muslim.
Yeah.
They're not like.
Not your wife.
No, she's not. But they're Muslim. But I mean, they're believers, but they don't really practice it. Like they don't
It's Turkish.
They don't go to mosques. They don't like my mother's mother doesn't cover her hair. It's not like they're. Because there are many ways of being Muslim or Christian or Jewish or Hindu or Buddhist,
true,
like many ways. People display it in different ways. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, it's because what I heard is I didn't know that, but I heard that as a Muslim, listening music is haram. I got really shocked because
I think in certain sects is like I think the Wahhabis, which is the Saudi. I think I'm not sure. I didn't study this, but I think they don't like listening to music. Like Iranians, it's forbidden for a woman to sing solo, like sing in Iran.
Yeah.
It changes because this religion, there's like whenever we say something general about religion, we're wrong. Right?
We always talk about extreme.
Yeah, I mean, also like it's even those extremes, if they are different from country to country.
Yeah.
I'm sure the extreme in Yemen is different than the extreme in Saudi Arabia, and then that is also because like Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're different sects. Irans are Shia, the Saudis are Wahhabis. Two completely different, but very conservative Islamic belief systems.
I mean, in South Korea, monk, it's meat. You know that? Monk, Buddhist,
Yeah.
it's meat.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like this. Huh? It's not haram.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. So
anyway, I mean, we don't. If you don't, I mean, there's not much to talk about Turkey because I left that country. It's behind me. I don't know. I never really studied it. If you ask me questions, most of the answers you will get are very general questions. Like I really don't think about these countries and values. I know that I never felt a big part of that country
because it's been a long time that you left.
It's just, I mean. But this doesn't, like, I am now German, but I'm only technically German. Like, I became a German citizen because I've been living in there for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And because I chose this as the country that I live in, I wanted to become a part of it so I can vote. I can be a normal citizen and exercise all my citizen rights.
Yeah.
It's safer to be a citizen in a country in many ways.
Yeah.
And it depends on the country, of course. And but does this make me German? No. I am Korhan Erel. I am this weird mix of genders, beliefs, and values. And I don't actually I can conclude that I really don't like identities.
Okay.
I find identities extremely boring and limiting. And they also don't mean anything. Like you, if I ask you where are you from, you say Korea. What does that mean? Nothing. Compared to the next Korean, are you the same?
It can influence,
yes.
I believe. It can influence
yes,
for identity.
But still, what does it tell me about you? that identity word. I am Korean. Are you a conservative Korean? Are you a free-thinking Korean? Are you a leftist Korean? Are you a queer Korean? Do you even consider yourself Korean? Or are you like anti-Korean? Or I don't know.
Yeah, because it's difficult to guess by a nationality of person for knowing like an identity. If we are artists, it's more like this because we are authentic person. But non-artist people, I believe that we can guess kind of a part of identity.
True, but still, like you can never know like what lies inside that human. Like you can like.
That is true.
That's what I mean. Like if this one, because like, we interact in words, right? We meet in a hotel in, I don't know, Amsterdam. Where are you from? Korea. What does that mean? At that moment, it means only what I think Koreans are like, which is probably bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
If I tell you that I'm Turkish, but I live in Germany, that can mean many things. Am I a Turkish person born in Germany, or am I a Turkish person who moved to Germany? Because they're entirely different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is true.
It's not about one is better or worse, but they're really different. Like the Turkish Germans are quite different than the Turkish.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were raised there. Like, some of them speak better German than Turkish, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't mean anything. That's what even if I say that I'm queer, that means absolutely nothing. If I say that I'm an electronic musician.
You're just Korhan. Yeah.
But also, like, if I say I'm an electronic musician, what does that mean? Do I make like electronic K-pop, or do I make like super intelligent dance music? Or somewhere in between, or do I do house music? Do I do like pop? Do I do synthwave? Do I do what? What do I do? It means nothing.
Yeah.
Then you have to define, right? And the further you define yourself, you're actually moving away from this identity that you started out with. You move from a Germany-based Turkish queer electronic musician, which are all these etiquettes, right? To being Korhan Erel.
Yeah.
Because we're all different. I mean, it is. I mean, these sounds like cliches, I know, but this is. I think the biggest generalization is that we're all different.
It's the thing that I was always thinking about when I just arrived to Korea after 10 years in France. I felt like people doesn't like to not to know a person in front of in front of them. So they really try to like figure me out with my nationality, with my with the country that I was living for a long time. Or people want to like figure me out with my background, like a geographical background or something like this. But what I felt is I'd like to explain it to everybody that no, identity is not that simple. Is more complex. I'm just being myself. But I can't explain that story to everybody. So I mean, if we have a time like a 2 hour of a podcast, I can explain, but not to everybody. So at the beginning, I kind of get annoyed. I think every artist has had this kind of like experience because. Artists are more authentic than.
That's also kind of a not so. I've known a lot of jerks in the world of art, so it does. I mean, I think it's. Look, if you can annoy almost anyone by pushing them into a box they don't want to be in, right?
Yeah,
you can like. I am sure there are a lot of Venezuelan doctors. Who, when questioned about being Venezuelan, might not like it, because this happens a lot in Europe, for example. Like Europeans, you get this a lot in Germany, for example, right? Some people in Germany, they want to define you. If the moment you tell them that you're Turkish or Korean or Mexican, they want to fit you in their own box of what a Mexican or a Venezuelan or a Korean or Turkish is. They really try, right? And then that gets annoying after a while, if they see this happens less often now, but 20 years ago, if they saw a Turkish woman with no headscarves and the average German, oh, do you take it off because you're in Germany now? Right? The woman says, I've never worn it.
Yeah.
I could have, but I've never, These like these things, they're pushing you into their own perception of being Turkish or being Korean.
Yeah, what is kind of the subject that I'm thinking a lot nowadays, because in Korea, podcast culture is not really popular, and but there's some podcaster like Korean podcaster in Korea, and the thing is, they can't really talk about anything without the context that they are Korean. Like they always related their subject with the K-pop and their Korean tourism or something like this. The thing is, at the beginning of this project, my project of a podcast, I was kind of thinking about, okay, so everybody does that, so maybe it's necessary to survive as a podcast to bring us some Korean context or tourism or K-pop or something like this. But I said to myself, so this is the project that I want to do. It's not really about money. So I said to myself, no, I don't want to play in that context. So that's why I don't really do purpose to like invite some English speaker or like a foreigner in Korea. My subject is not foreigner in Korea or tourism, but my subject is only just I mean at least like a majority of a consummation of a podcast is in the USA. So English is kind of essential. But after that, I just choose someone that I want to talk really, not because they come from a certain country or something like that. Because why I choose you, because you're an artist and I really loved your work. So
Thank you.
Internet, but So.
And by the way, my name is Korhan, Korhan. If you replace the H with an E, I become Korean.
Is it?
That's why my Kako nickname is stupid, Korhan Korean.
You know that in French we call it like uncle joke.
Uncle, dad joke. Yeah. It's not a joke. It's a fact. If you replace the H with an E, it becomes Korean.
Okay.
So I'm an honorary Korean.
Thank you to share.
Yes. This is See, that's why this is the real me. Now your suffering has just begun.
You say you try to say that to other guy while you stay.
No, people love it. Yeah.
Okay, but I wanted to say that like about your work. I heard about your like a story with your reference like a John Cage and everything. So apart from like a music, like industrial music, you do some kind of like artistic, like your own authentic music with like a white noise, with like a ambient sound and everything. Not really like a drum, like a trumpet or other thing.
Well, yes and no. Well, I don't play drums or I don't play the trumpet.
Yes.
And there are when I compose, I use all sorts of sounds that I record with my synthesizer or in a city or in my kitchen. Yeah. And in that case, if we want to name a reference, it will be more like the musique concrète in France. In the 50s, where they would make a lot of recordings on magnetic tape, and then cut and paste them with razors like things. And
it's like collage music.
Exactly, right? They would compose with these recorded sounds. They would reverse them. They would slow them down. They would as much as they could manipulate the sounds with the technology of the day. They would manipulate this and compose with it. But they were not really able to perform with it because the technology wasn't there. I mean, there were some performances, but it was very limited. Now, with the computers and everything, we can do almost anything. So that's what I do. I'm doing a more advanced, like technically advanced version of Musik Konkret. When I like the piece you listened to at Alternative Space Loop the other day, that was more or less a composition made out of recordings. There was hardly anything that was played live there. Like the composition part was not live. Like I didn't play anything to compose that music, but I was playing on top of it. I was accompanying the tape part. This is like kind of an outdated term for a composition that's fixed, that just plays from a medium. It can be tape, CD, computer, you name it. And I was playing on top of it. But then I'm also an improviser, right?
Yes.
I play electronic instruments. It can be a laptop. It can be a synthesizer. In this genre called free improvisation, where you don't try to create any harmonic or melodic or rhythmic structure in the sense of a given idiom of music, like Western classical, Iranian classical, or Indian classical, or whatever, like, you know, these existing, or like Korean folk music standards. Like these are all have rules, right?
Yeah.
So you basically do your best to stay out of those rules, but still do your best to sound musical and sound like if you're because it's usually collective improvisation. You improvise with other musicians.
Yeah.
So you do your best to listen, react, sometimes stay silent, and at the end come up with something that makes musical sense in an avant-garde way.
Yeah.
Not in a traditional way.
No.
So there I don't play a trumpet, but I play with trumpet players. I play with, I don't know, drummers. I play with pianists. I play with guitars. Like you name it, any kind of instrument. I played with guzheng players. I played with, sheng players.
Yeah.
Which all of these instruments have also Korean counterparts. I don't know the names, but so like these, like I play with Middle Eastern instrument players. I play with Far Eastern instrument players. I play with Europeans. I play with America. You know, this, especially in Berlin, this is very easy to do. It's like they're musicians all over the world.
Yeah.
So there, I get it. Like, do you remember this part I was talking about, like gestures and showing people what I play? That's more valid for improvised music, where I'm really on stage, sometimes even standing, and I'm playing with other people who are playing other instruments like trumpet, saxophone, you name it.
Yeah.
So there, I really try to function like an instrumentalist, and I really like to show what I'm doing to the audience. Because there, I'm playing more actively. My playing at Alternative Loop was more passive. I was accompanying something that I already composed, and I wasn't like. So I was not playing alone. There was something else that was playing in the background. So I couldn't just like do a lot of things. I didn't want to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yes, I mainly use, because I'm not a trained musician. I never studied music. I tried. I failed many times. So I have never really studied music. I don't know almost anything about music theory. I know very basic music theory.
Okay.
And so I don't know how to compose in those domains. Like I don't know how notes function together. And I can't say that I know how sounds function together. I know how sounds function together in my own way. Whatever that influenced me came into my brain, from 80s pop to Indian music to avant-garde Western music.
Yeah.
Whatever came here, it's a culmination of everything.
Yeah.
Plus my own musical tastes.
Yeah.
That creates my music. But I also, for example, I used to play, like in the 90s, I used to play keyboards in rock bands.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, listen to a lot of pop and rock music, which is not really an influence because the music I do is not like that. But I actually have started recently a duo with a singer-composer that where we want to do experimental pop music.
Okay.
So it's just a diverse, like I'm actually at the moment, I am now looking for a new direction in music. Like maybe a new sound, a new directions, new band, new projects. I stopped many of my older projects, and I'm 50 years old now, so it's the second half of my year. I assume that I'm Korean, so I'm going to live forever. So I can dream, right? So, yeah, we'll see.
You don't look like 50 years old.
Thank you very much.
No, really.
Thank you. No, people say this. I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, but I know.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be modest about it. I know. I have good genes. My parents also don't look their age. My father's almost 80 years old, but he doesn't look 80.
Okay.
My mom also doesn't look that, as old as she is. Yeah.
So I'd like to compare with the culture on YouTube with your music, if it's possible. Because when I was young, the only culture that I can consume with sound was music, rhythmical music, like tung tung tung. I did like rhythm. But since kind of 10 years, something like this, with YouTube culture and everything, there was people who started to create ASMR and white noise to concentrate to do something while they listen that or for other use. So I can see that when there is a creation of something in contemporary art, that comes to popular culture after 10 years, a little bit later than in contemporary art. So I really believe that this kind of ambient sound and white noise culture came finally in our a popular culture. We know how to consume this kind of thing. It's not like a rhythmical. It's different feeling. It's not pleasure. It's not like emotional, but different feeling. At least we consume.
But isn't ASMR culture mainly about either? Well, I don't. As far as I know, I don't know much about this culture, but I've seen videos. As far as I know, this serves two purposes: either to concentrate by listening to a sound that's not musical to you, so you don't have to listen to it actively. Like there's no beat, there's no content per se. Like there's no musical content, so you're just in the background, right?
Yes.
Or it's for sexual purposes. It's a fetish.
Or just other thing like turning the page of a book or something like this.
Yeah. But there's a sexual aspect to it for some people.
Very, very.
Yes. Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm completely, obviously, totally fine with it. I don't care, actually. Ambient music is also I've been hearing a lot of that music playing in... We were in Taipei before we came to Korea. There were a lot of cafes there also, like in Korea, and they play these really ambient, repetitive, very simple music.
Not music, but sound?
No, everything can be music. We can't define music. We used to be able, in the 19th century, we could define music. Not really anymore. I mean, yes, there are definitions of certain kinds of music, but I would rather not go there. What's music or what's not? Okay. Because what's music to me might be rubbish to you.
Yeah, but I have a conscience about that. But to explain well with
I think it's also about intention. If I am turning the pages of a book on stage to a microphone intentionally with an audience, we can argue that that's music. Some of the audience members might find it ridiculous and swear at me and throw things at me and leave, while some others might love it and listen to it as music.
Yes.
So, who's right? They're both right. Or they're both wrong. These right and there's it's boring, these right wrong things.
Yeah.
It's boring. So ASMR, but as far as I can understand, most people don't listen to it as music, but as a background thing that allows them to focus.
Yeah.
Which I understand, actually. It can work. My wife also kind of likes it. She doesn't listen to it, but she can imagine herself being able to do that while she works, for example, right? She can. I don't, because because for me, if I hear someone doing these crunchy sounds, I will probably like them very much, and I listen to them.
Yeah.
Not in a sexual. It doesn't give me anything sexual, but I would like them. I like. There's no way I could work on something else while listening to that.
Yeah.
For me, that's actually a very interesting sound. It would probably give me a ton of ideas.
Yeah.
And I would just get my recording and go record something. For example, that would not work the way ambient music. I get bored usually. Depends on what's ambient, of course. If it's like really repetitive, like kind of a yoga salon music, that I find boring. But that's me. This is not a condescending statement. If people like it, they like it. So yeah, it's so relative. Everything is extremely relative.
Yeah, because I asked about that subject because for some people I don't know. I don't want to generalize neither, but
you like generalizations. Go ahead.
I see the level of which moment people think that is music or not, at least in Korea. Like for example, do you know Tame Impala?
Yes.
Yeah. When I make listen Tame Impala to somebody, or like my mother or someone like this, they really say that it's not music. You know, that level. And Steve Rich, surely not.
Yeah.
You know.
No, my father hates everything that has the electric guitar in it. He just hates it.
Oh yeah.
For him, it's not music.
Yeah. So that's why for me, I was consuming already like I truly like listen like Philip Glass and like other artists, but I really know that I don't want to share with any brand because I really wanted to like share my culture with my friend, but it doesn't really work. So, but I just said that because at least they consume sometimes white noise and ASMR. For me, it's really pleasure that to see this kind of people who kind of has a conscience that they can consume apart from like a traditional music.
Yeah, but the reason why are they consuming it is, of course, like, I mean, I'm not judging it, as I said, but are they consuming it as music or for some other, or are they consuming it just because it's fashionable? Then, like, will they continue to do that for the rest of their lives, or are they just listening to it because their friends are also listening to it?
Yeah.
Because ASMR was a big thing for a while, right? It was like really
very big thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's still big. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. Probably it is. But if I would do a test, like as I said, this imaginary scenario where someone is actually turning the pages of a book on stage to a microphone with audience.
Yeah.
Will those friends of yours who like ASMR, will they go to that concert, and that concert, if we call it a concert, will they go there and listen to this live as a performance?
Yeah.
Or will they not? Some of them probably won't go there, and if they go there, because they have to concentrate, right? They have, because someone is actively doing it. Because watching it someone on screen and live is entirely different. It's a different experience. So if they are in the same room with this person who's like doing like these ASMR sounds or like these things, like is it the same? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because they are not. I mean, while they're doing this ASMR thing, they're probably not looking at the video, right? Just on their headphones, probably. I don't know. If they're looking at the video, that's also, I think that borders the sexuality part now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like for example, I have a lot of thinking with contemporary art. For example, when I was school, there was like an open door of my school, and people came, like people who doesn't really doesn't like contemporary art came, and they insulted our work because it's not a surprise for me, and but. What I want to say, it's not surprise for me that people doesn't like a contemporary art and like this kind of like a contemporary thing. But the thing is, I always say that So there's like a Steve Rich and really like a big artist, John Cage, and someone like this. And if you don't like, you can judge. You can say that you can say that you don't like John Cage. You can say that you don't like Steve Rich. You can say that you don't like Marcel Duchamp. But what I'm kind of angry about people was sometimes I ask some opinion to like my other friend. They about the artist. They say that I can't really judge because I don't really know about art. So maybe it's kind of holy thing. So I can't really judge. So maybe I should believe some curator or something like this. But
But they're telling you the truth. I mean, they because lots of people also just judge anyway. Even though they don't know anything about it.
But they don't say well.
Yeah, I mean, I in Istanbul when I was still living there from 2005 until 2012.
Yeah.
I was playing in a band called Islak Köpek, which is a Turkish word, and in English it means the wet dog.
The white dog.
Wet
dog.
Wet. Right? And it was a free improvisation ensemble, very abstract music, improvised.
Yeah.
And in 2000, was it 11? I think it was 11 or 12. We were hosted by a very well-known actress on her TV show, on a private TV channel in Turkey. And then at the end of the show, we were asked to play. It was this countryside house, and we had to play acoustically. And we looked really ridiculous, like really terrible. It was a terrible performance, really bad.
Yeah.
We also the whole show was really bad, right? And but then someone actually taped this show, videotape, and put it on YouTube to insult us.
Yeah.
And then it snowballed into this big social phenomenon where people were cursing at us, swearing at us, threatening us.
Yes.
And then there were a few people who were defending us, right?
Very few.
Very few. But then something else happened. This became such a big phenomenon. It was this is relatively early in YouTube, right? In 2011, 12.
Yeah.
It's more than 10 years ago. So it became such a phenomenon that first some groups of younger people started making imitations of us at their home with objects and vacuum cleaners.
The best thing. So
Yeah. But they were making fun of us.
Yeah.
And some of them were actually really good, right? They were, and either really funny or musically very good.
Yeah.
Sometimes both. And then, when this snowballed into this social phenomenon, TV shows realizes there used to be a comedy show in a series.
Yeah.
In Turkey. In one of the episodes, they recreated this.
Oh, okay.
This performance with actors. There was someone playing me as an actor.
Can you watch on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah. I need to type it though. Yeah.
It's alphabet, right? It's good. It's only alphabet, not
No. It's the Turkish uses the Latin alphabet, so this should be fine. Leyla. Where's the Leyla? This is. Wait, can I go?
Red one.
Wait, no, I have to type the other one.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, wait. Now I can say enter. This the first video. The second video is us.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Let's
the second, that's the original one. Yeah. I can't hear the sound.
Köyde bir kahve içer miyiz dedim bu sabah.
Yeah.
Bu sabah.
So this is the actress. She's reading poetry and we're improvising.
Oralı olmadı kimse.
It's in Turkish, so many people won't understand it.
Pazartesi miydi? Uyumdan çıkmıştım tam. Begon.
So it was 12 years ago, yeah.
Begonyamsa güller içinde.
It's you.
Yeah, that's me. So this is a long video. So this is the original, right? So lots of like tons of comments, all of them in Turkish. So Koreans won't understand it unless they use a translation service.
Yeah.
The first one is a quite well-known, very popular
Ben
Turkish show.
pencereden bakarken
He is also reading poetry
kimseler
now
ölmemişti.
to his girlfriend or
Ölüm diye bir
whatever
şey
the
yoktu ki
woman
Hilmi
is.
Bey. Var mıydı? Yüzümden bir şeyler aktı, aktı. İçimde menekşelendi Hilmi Bey. Gökyüzü gibi bir şey bu çocukluk. Hiçbir yere gitmiyor.
Yeniköy'de bir kahve içer miyiz
And
dedim bu
now
sabah.
this is
Bu sabah,
imitation of
bu
us.
sabah. Oralı olmadı kimse.
The melodical player is me.
miydi?
That's not me, but it's me.
Oyundan çıkmıştım
Oh,
tam.
yeah, I see that.
He has more hair.
Güller içinde. Nasıl?
And he's puking.
Well,
Güllerse güller içinde
it's from
yani.
it.
Yeah.
Ve balkon demirinde bir martı.
So yeah, this is it, right?
It's good.
Well,
Good thing.
the thing is, it is, but also what I never understood is why. Like, yes, you don't like the music, you find it horrible, it's disgusting. True, okay. But
The actor was
I
vomiting.
also find some music's really unbearable.
Yeah.
But I would never do this to them. I would never do this to a musician or anyone, any artist. Like, this is.
Did it hurt you?
At first, I was angry, but then soon enough, I just realized that this was actually a big inferiority complex by people. Look, I mean, liking our music does not make you a better person. It does not make you a smarter person. It makes you nothing. It just makes you a person who
Yes.
likes this music. Nothing more, nothing less, right? That doesn't make you any, like, it
Elite
doesn't
co-
give you social status. It doesn't make you smarter, blah, blah.
Well, people think that.
Yeah. But they are actually like this actually brought out for me a very interesting aspect of a certain layer of Turkish society where a lot of people accuse us of either being non-musicians, which I can understand because in their minds, if you're a K-pop fan, if you think K-pop is the only music that's the best, or Turkish pop, doesn't matter, you would think this is rubbish, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they were actually accusing us of worshipping Western values, right? Because this music comes from the West. It's like American European. It was born out of free jazz and European non-academic experimental music, right? And this was the big accusation, as if these people live all their lives only with Turkish values or Eastern values, whatever the hell they are, right? This was really intriguing. Like, why are these people even art critics who actually criticize Western art positively or negatively? They recently, this video was resurfaced recently. This guy brought it up 12 years later and wanted to make fun of us. But this time he didn't get the reaction he wanted because I said why are you even I also don't like certain music. Why are you are you getting any sexual pleasure out of this? What's wrong with you? Why? What do you obtain? These people are doing some music. It's horrible, it's wonderful, depends, right? But why are you making fun of this? It's actually very boring to make fun of this.
Yeah.
It's actually, it just shows me you're actually very hostile to new experiences. You're completely entitled to hate this music. Well, why would you hate anything anyway? Dislike it. But why are you taking the time to upload this again on your stupid Instagram account? This takes time. You upload something, it takes time. It takes. In Korea, internet is fast. In Turkey, it's not always fast. Doesn't matter. It's you actually dedicate a short period of your limited lifespan to this, so that you can make fun of this, humiliate these people. Some of whom are actually university lecturers now. They teach people music. They're these people. Actually, most of some of them are now not even Turkey. But the guy who's playing the guitar is a very respected music teacher in Istanbul. Right? He's also he teaches people. I have moved on from Turkey, and I'm with this terrible music, I am making quite a good living in another country where a video like this would never be made fun of. For example, in Germany. I don't think anyone would like waste their time on this, you know. This was like, and it happened many, many times.
I can imagine.
This is actually one of the reasons I think one of the secret hidden reasons that made me want to leave Turkey. Not because they didn't like my music. No, that's, as I say, I repeat, it's completely fine. It's a very niche music. It's not for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I know this if I wanted to be liked by everyone, I would become a pop musician. But I didn't. By the way, let me reiterate, I really like pop music. There's nothing wrong with it. I really listen to, I don't want people to think that I'm this elitist who only likes avant-garde music. No, I'm not.
Do you consume K-pop?
I don't know much about K-pop, but it sounds a lot like European pop in Korean. It's basically boy bands and girl bands, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is the same in England or I never really liked that kind of music. It's not, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I would never argue with someone about that music. If they like it, they like it, right?
Yeah.
Because I like different kinds of pop. I like Pet Shop Boys, which a lot of people hate because they're like too pop. But I really like them.
Yeah, sometimes if the culture that you consume is more contemporary, they try to insult you sometimes.
Yeah. What I also don't you also see from the classical music world, Western classical music world in Turkey and in abroad, they also don't like this, right? But what they fail to understand is Beethoven, back in I think it's 300 years ago, let's say.
Yeah.
He was avant-garde.
Yes.
He did things that no other composer did. He was really weird, right? For his time.
Yeah.
But he was also accessible. He was also something that people liked. I'm almost sure that there were also composers that did really weird things and they're forgotten. But I'm sure there are also a lot of composers that just repeated what was done before and they were also forgotten. Most of these composers were the pioneers of their periods. Mozart, Haydn, Telemann, Purcell, all these names. They were, so to say, the John Cages of their periods, let's say, right? They did something different. That's why we still listen to them.
Then you believe that in 100 or 200 years, we're going to listen music that feels like John Cage?
Who knows? I don't know.
It's possible.
The only thing that's vastly different in the music of the late 20th and early 21st music in the avant-garde is that not all of it is tonal or not all of it is tonal in the 12th tone system that is popular in the West, not so in the East. And so it's not always you can't just sit down and listen to this as something pleasurable. It's not for everyone. But of course, who knows? Maybe in 100 years, the music will change so much that we will. But also, let's go back. If we look at pop music today,
yes,
most of it is actually based on chord progressions used by Bach or other early musicians.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You have a reference to compare? I can't imagine.
These all very simple chord melodic production structures that have been used a lot in classical music in 300-400 years ago, right? When the 12 tone system was invented, because it's an invented system, it's not natural, it doesn't exist in nature, it's actually even wrong, it's out of tune. The Western 12 tone system do, re, mi, it's actually musical wrong, but it makes certain things possible, so it's used.
Very interesting.
So people still, because I think this is not based on any study or any theory, right? So and I'm people can argue with me if they want, and I will listen to them and they can correct me. But I think generally speaking, pop music is appealing because it is something that you can listen to. It usually has lyrics.
Yes.
So there's emotional content in it, fake or real, right? Doesn't matter. But in K-pop or in boy band, girl band lyrics, it's probably like written to, towards the trends of whatever teenagers are into in that time,
Yeah.
right? But it's music that, because these harmonies, they're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with them. Like, they're beautiful. Like, there are some songs that are absolutely beautiful. And that's what it evokes certain emotions in, especially if they're music from your teenage years. Those are the formative years in many human beings' musical journeys, even as listeners. What you listen to when you're a teenager, when you're this bag of protein full of hormones that go all over the place, those are the musics that form you.
Yeah.
You fall in love listening to a piece.
Yeah.
And you get rejected, and that leaves a mark on you.
Yeah.
You dream about this boy or girl or whatever gender this person is. Listening to that music, you cry, you drink to it. You get drunk for the first time listening to, I don't know, Rolling Stones when you were like in the 70s, whatever, or Radiohead, or like, Bon Iver,
Yeah.
So, or or Madonna. Who knows?
Yeah.
So whereas this kind of music, it's very personal, and it's also like for improvised music, I don't usually listen to it at home.
Okay.
Because I think it's consumed better live, because it's the music of the moment. And if you see what the musicians are doing and like how they're reacting, and if you're like very close, because most of this music is actually played in very small venues, which means you're very close to the musicians. Like, this can be the distance between you as a listener and me as a musician. It's not impossible, right? And that creates a difference. And I know for a fact that a lot of people who would find this horrible on YouTube would actually do find it interesting when they listen to it live. I'm not saying millions will like it, no. But I know that if you take 100 people, if you put them in front of a laptop and play them free improvisation, maybe 90% of them will not like it, let's say, right? Yeah. If you take them to a venue where the same band is playing, more or less the same music, probably 70% will not like it. 20% will still not like it, but they will find it interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
They will this is an experience, right? They will at least open their minds to this experience, and they will not be miserable listening to this music. They may or may not never go to a concert like that again, but they will still take something from it.
Yeah.
They will actually at least cherish it as an experience, which this is exactly what it is. It's an experience. For some people, it's a beautiful musical experience. For some people, it's an interesting, different, unusual musical experience. For some people, it's just torture. But for some people, heavy metal is torture. For some people, K-pop is torture. For some people, Beethoven is torture. We all have our tortures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I wrote some phrase from some book. I don't remember the title or anything. But the thing is, one author said that the song, singing song, is a developed version of language. Like, for example, when I say I love you, like it's kind of like a dry. But when I say I love you, something like this, we are really a language animal. So we can really feel we can take a lot of like information from the vibration and from that kind of thing. So I kind of agree, because I can when I listen like a love song, especially love song is really good subject. Love song, I can really feel the how I feel like when I'm in love with this lyrics, with this like a tonality, you know. It's exactly same kind of same feeling. I can't explain how why is similar, but I can feel, you know.
But is it a love song in like the Korean folk tradition, or is it a love song
Just
composed
Western.
by that's a big difference, huh?
Yeah.
Like, because there are Turkish love songs in the Turkish folk music love songs, Turkish classical music folk, love songs. There are Turkish pop love songs. Which one?
Western music, like a radio,
Yeah.
because as you know, I believe that you kind of feel this while you stay in Korea, because there is a lot of Western culture here. Like, so it was not a new thing for me to this kind of like a tonality, this kind of like a lyrics. So I had the understanding of this kind of Western people's like perspective. So I really like felt that. I don't know why I talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I perceive Korea as, I mean, like the cuisine is probably not Westernized. It's pretty still Korean, I think, maybe. But yeah, I mean, the architecture is pretty Western, except for some Japanese houses and some Korean houses. It's pretty like the downtown Seoul is very Western. It looks like New York, more or less. And some parts of it actually looks a lot like Istanbul, funny enough. But yeah, but is it true for someone, so a Korean person who lives in the countryside, in a village?
Not the same
No,
perspective.
they will probably find a Radiohead love song very strange. Yeah.
For them, the song of like a 60 or 70 is really emotional, but not Radiohead. Like exactly like the case of Tame Impala, because I made listen to Tame Impala too. For me, Tame Impala is very popular song music for everybody, but my mother find that really like no, it's not song.
When was the first time you listened to Tame Impala?
It's been 5 years, I think.
Okay, so it's new.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's new.
No. And Radiohead?
Like 20 years.
Okay. Right.
Why?
So I'm just because these like it depends on like what your experience was. Was it were you a teenager? Were you in your 20s? Were you in your 30s? Because these affect the way we perceive music. Like our life experience shapes our perception of music, I think, because it shapes our emotions. It shapes how we experience our emotions. If we're traumatized, if we suppressed, like an emotional state that you would find yourself frequently in when you were 17 might not be there anymore because it was traumatic for you. You suppressed it. It doesn't exist anymore. Unless you seek therapy and that comes out again, and, or it might never come out.
I said to myself, if I listen techno to my mother, she's gonna say it's terrible. But
there's no bad music. There's not enough soju. Just give her some booze. She'll like it.
I really want to try to raving in. I really want to try to raving in Germany, because there's a lot of raving club and festival.
Berlin is the city of clubs. Yeah.
Do you like it?
I'm not. I have never been a clubber.
Ah.
You
don't like?
No. It's not about not liking it. It's just not my world.
Okay.
I mean, I have been to clubs, and there is like one club evening that I go every 2 months because it happens every 2 months.
Yeah.
It's called Cuckoo.
Yeah.
It's at this club called Ohm in Berlin. It's a small club.
Yeah.
There's no line. There's no dress code. You can go there as you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to look like something, right? Which is a big problem in club culture, I think.
Because it's all about attraction.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not a part of that culture. I don't want to like really talk about it because I don't know how it came to be that way. But I generally don't like uniforms in any form. Like it can be a soldier's uniform, it could be a queer uniform, it could be a leftist, communist uniform. It doesn't matter for me. These uniforms, it's another box that you want to like put yourself in. It's because it
In
defines
some category,
you. Like,
yeah.
I have a mustache like a comrade, like I'm Stalin, or I'm a whatever, like K-pop. I have hair like K-pop.
Yeah.
It's all the same to me after the end. I mean, I don't care what people do, but I never felt a part of this culture. These like fixed identity uniform thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go to this club, and I like it. I like it there. I really like it. It's because the music they play there is not always like this hard techno, which I like techno, by the way. I like certain kinds of techno,
Yeah.
but I don't like this like really like kind of this techno. Because for me it's functional music.
Yeah.
It serves a purpose, which is also fine. I'm not judging it. It serves a purpose. People go there, they do or they don't do drugs, and they dance. It's kind of a chance thing, right?
You can stop to saying that you don't judge. People doesn't think that.
I still do this because
I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
saying that.
Okay.
I don't want to generalize.
yeah, exactly. But still, if you're a musician talking about music, I think it's important to say that I'm
That's
not
true.
judging it, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
At the same time.
So, and there are certain versions of that music I like. Like I really like minimal techno. I really like dub techno. These are like musics that I actually even listen to it at home. I just put it on and listen, or on the way, like walking. But this club culture is not really. I mean, it's fun to be there, but I wouldn't be able to go there every weekend. It's impossible. I'm like almost old. Like I'm 50. I can't. If I went to clubbing every weekend, I would probably die. And second of all, as far as I know, I don't do drugs personally. But as far as I know, in order to be able to stay in a club for 48 hours or more, you need to take something.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I actually tried some of those things,
Yeah.
like MDMA and speed. They made me go to sleep. I'm seriously fucked. Like my brain is wired differently. And this happens to some people. I know that I'm not the only person,
But the quality of the sleep was good. At least.
it was just sleep. It wasn't
okay.
bad or good. It was just sleep. I was after an hour after, I was just like, "Where's my bed?" Kind of like I took this MDMA once in a Berlin club with friends.
Yeah.
Right? They were friends I could trust, so I tried. And one of my friends, she was like, "Korhan, do you feel the difference in the music? Like, look at this bass drum." I said, "No, it's the same." I mean, maybe I'm not saying her experience was wrong. She was really, for some reason, experiencing it differently after she took the same drug. But with me, it was not. There was no change. There was no change in my mentality. Then nothing happened. Basically, eventually I was tired and just went there and like slept in the club. Yeah, which is possible. I can sleep in while there's music.
Yeah.
But if you want to live club culture, Berlin is one of the most biggest cities in the world.
I really want to try.
Come to Berlin.
Because people are really stylish. Like even in the daytime, I saw that some people are really like wearing black, like raving style.
Well, in Berlin,
It's really German style.
It's like an aquarium. There are so many different fishes. Berlin is like that. You see everyone.
I love it.
Yeah, you see you see people going down to their convenience store in their pajamas and getting their pack of cigarettes and walking up again. It's a very interesting city in that aspect.
That's why. Because and also the art level of Germany in general is really good. Like in comparison to other European country, I tried one time like English. I went to England and then I tried like a Tate Modern and then other thing. It was really good. But I heard that there. I mean, why I say so because I have a very very good friend, a German friend who came to Erasmus to my school, and then he showed his work, but he was already best of his school. of a best school art school in Berlin. But he showed us his work. But it's crazy, really good, really good.
But that's one person, huh?
Yeah, that's one person. But he said that because he said that in Berlin there's a lot of like a thing like this, and
I mean, I think in Berlin maybe you see more good art because there are more artists there.
yeah.
I mean,
They can even make money with art. Like there's
but
more.
I always say this, like maybe in Berlin, let's say in Berlin there are 1,000 artists. There's more, of course, but for statistical purposes, let's say 1,000. And let's say in Seoul there are 200.
Yeah.
Right? Out of those 1,000 artists, there's of course one big difference between Seoul and Berlin is that the art scene in Berlin is quite international.
Yes.
There are a lot of South Korean artists there also.
Yes. I
Or
heard that.
Turkish or German or you name it, like from Venezuela. Like there are lots of Brazilian artists there. There are like lots of artists from Costa Rica there. You name it. Everybody's there. Right? So this, of course, increases the variety of art that comes out. But if you calculate a ratio of good art versus bad art, which, of course, we all both know that it means nothing. Like good art, what is good art, what is bad art?
Subjective.
But let's say two of us are like goddesses of art. We know everything about art.
Yeah.
We can judge, like we look and we say, this sucks, this is amazing. Let's say the ratio of good art in Korea, in Seoul, versus the ratio of good art in Berlin may not be that different. Out of those 200 artists, maybe 20 will be good, let's say. Out of those 1,000 artists in Berlin, maybe 150 will be good, which is more or less the same ratio. So like judging, like there is definitely more variety of art in Berlin.
Yeah.
Because of the multicultural aspect of it. And also it's very well funded. So
And
artists...
it makes a competition.
I mean, visual arts are also funded. Music is much better funded than visual arts.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's easier to fund music than arts. Because because you can fund projects. Like the musicians come
That is
together,
true.
they start a band, they get funding. How do you fund an artist? Like you just give them some money so they can work on their art. Which exists, but it's... The life of a visual artist in Berlin is way more precarious than the life of a musician in Berlin.
Yeah.
Like I can make my living with this really weird music in Berlin,
Yeah.
whereas an average, and I'm not a well-known musician. I'm an average. Like I am known, but I'm not like a world-leading figure on experimental music in Berlin. No, I'm just one of the musicians there, right? But again, someone like me who does visual arts may not be as lucky as me because visual art is more difficult to fund because we play concerts a lot. There's more activity. Like an artist, they can't make 5 exhibitions in a year. It's very difficult. It's they have to create something new, maybe in different cities, but then they have to be an artist with a good career so that other cities will invite them. It's very precarious. Basically, it's not an easy life for visual artists in Berlin. People think that it is. It's not. I'm not saying they shouldn't come to Berlin, but they should. If anyone is listening to this podcast and kind of imagining themselves going to Berlin, they should know that it's not the easiest life for a visual artist. But where is this easy life for a visual artist anyway? So it doesn't really exist. The world of visual artists has always been precarious.
As someone who live in Berlin, you can compare and you compare with the other city and other country. Can you're gonna recommend to come to Berlin instead to other city?
I don't know
for
other
you,
cities,
for you, just
but
for you.
like for example, my experience is that there is actually quite a bit of funding in Korea for arts, for visual arts. Music is not really funded here, like as far as I know, but contemporary art is pretty well funded. I mean, my wife is here with Korean money.
Okay.
She came here with Korean money. Like
Which
she was,
association?
I don't
funded?
remember.
Okay, it's a museum and I don't know, company.
No, I think it's like state funding. It was through this artist residency in Taejan called Route 17,
Okay.
which is run by Juha and Jun. And I don't know where they found the money. My wife would know, but I don't question where the money comes from. I just spend it. No, this is not mine. It was my wife's money, so I don't really know. I didn't take any of that money.
But it's really good life to like travel together as an artist. And
Yeah.
you're not engaged. It's really good life.
The funny thing is,
You
I
used to live this.
well,
like this?
we have done this. Like in 2022 in December, we were in Brazil because I was invited to play a festival there.
Yeah.
I don't travel as much as many other musicians. Some other musicians, they travel a lot. But I have been like, I have played, I mean, outside Europe, let's say, right?
Yeah.
I played and outside the US. I played in Brazil. I played in Iran. I played in Azerbaijan. I played in Hong Kong. I played in Singapore. Now I played in Korea. And I played in Russia, but that's officially Europe.
Yeah.
I played in Turkey, that's also officially Europe. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, most of our lives as musicians are in Europe. Yeah.
Okay. I have one question.
Yes.
Can we have a pee break?
Yes. Go ahead.
While you're playing, you say that on SoundCloud and from other platform, you use the expression that you steal some sound from the internet. It's a very big subject for today and for me also, because I'm really like thinking a lot about like authority right. Because like for example, I just mentioned Tame Impala, but the thing is that Tame Impala for me, Tame Impala copied John Lennon's voice. Yeah, and he was agree. He was agree because people was keeping saying that you stole his voice, you imitated his vibe, and he was agree. And but it's cool because I don't see Tame Impala like negatively. At the same time, there's a lot of like culture in TikTok and on YouTube. There's a lot of short form video built by a video made by other people, and they kind of remix or something like this. But as a videoist, as a videographer, as someone who make a visual thing, it's really useful like other souls. And if I limit myself against the law, I feel really limited. I don't feel like a creative at all because I kind of feel like there's limits, so I should pay attention. But it's real for me. That's why it's not been a long time. I read so what it exactly say authority law in Korean law. If there is a product, product, and if we create another product from this first product, it can be illegal and it can be legal because there is two different ways. First way that we use the joy of this first product, like the source, for example, if there is song with the emotional of happiness, if you use this happiness of this song, is illegal. But if we remix and if you make it a completely different way to a customer, it's legal. You know, do you understand?
Yeah.
So how do you think about this?
Well, I mean, of course, it's very different with video and music because if with the kind of music I make, I can take something from a recording from someone, and morph it in such a way that it's unrecognizable. By the way, I do this very rarely. It's not that I like constantly get music from other people. I have done this actually maybe I don't know, maybe it doesn't, and less than a dozen
Rare.
times in my life, and most of it was actually from not uncopyrighted material, like old films and sounds that were not copyrighted. Like there was one case when I was asked to perform at the Contemporary Museum of Contemporary and Applied Arts in Vienna in 2013. I wanted to do a piece that was loosely based on yodeling, which is this way of singing in Austria and southern Germany and Switzerland. And I wanted to focus on this specific yodeler called Franzl Lang, who is a South German yodeling singer, yodel singer.
Yeah.
And I just took a section of his song, but I changed it so much that no one would be able to understand it. It's impossible. It's just like you wouldn't.
In that case, it's not illegal. It's legal.
Well, what I did was not illegal anyway because I sampled a very short section of it. You can do up to 8 bars or something like that. It's fine. Like you can do, and if you like credit it, it's fine. And of course, because I was playing this in the museum, they also like if there was any copyright issues, they would pay for it. Right? I don't have to worry about that. But I was also like it was so bent out of shape from its original version, it became something else.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I also did that once with, I think it was a certain very short sections of the variations, piano pieces by John Cage. I took them, bent them, and I combined them into one texture and turned that into an instrument, which was also impossible to recognize.
Yeah.
And I was, in that case, I wasn't really ripping off John Cage's musical ideas and presenting them as my own. I wasn't using the performance style and saying it as my own. It was just sonic material that I bent and morphed and twisted. So I think it was fine. And I probably made like maybe a few €100 from it anyway, so no one got rich.
But
I think it's the stealing of the actual idea. Like if someone composes a melody and use that exact same melody, then that's theft,
yeah.
right? Without crediting it, because you can also use it and pay for it. Right?
Yeah.
You can. I mean, it's possible. I don't think you can do that with like Pink Floyd or something like that because they don't let it. But many artists, you can. Like you can. And of course, also like in this today's world, the 12-tone system is now, I think it's coming to its limits. Like you can't be truly original musically. It's very difficult.
What is 12 tone? Is do,
It's
re,
the
mi,
do,
fa?
yeah, that's do, like it's in English, it's C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F.
Okay. It's
12
not only
12
eight.
notes.
Yeah.
No, it's not. The sharps also there, like the flats. Yeah. It's a 12-tone system. It was invented, I think, in the times of Bach.
Yeah. You
Like
just
the
said that.
well-tempered.
And it's really interesting.
Because if you listen to like, I'm not an expert on this, but if you listen to early European music, it's microtonal. It's out of tune compared to today's standards.
So
Yeah. Well, about this, I mean, I think like if we say this is wrong, then we would basically cancel hip hop.
yeah, that's true.
Hip hop is completely based on sampling.
Hip hop is a collage.
It is in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hip hop is, or like a lot of other things that, you would basically, and that's the beauty of like, it's kind of recycling. It's all, and most of these hip hop musicians actually they sample this because they want to pay respect. They respect this music. It's not because they want to steal it. They actually reuse it, and they respect, especially these black artists. They respect their elders, like the black artists that came before them. These wonderful grooves and the bass lines they play, and they want to kind of reintroduce them. But they always say where these are from. Like they don't rip off, I don't know, the Temptations and then not say anything about it. They say this is from the Temptations.
But the thing is, who can judge that is form of respect or form of just
I
imitation?
know that
That's
these
the
people,
question.
they are respecting. They do this. They don't steal it, because if you use this and you actually acknowledge it, like you credit it, it's basically like if you don't credit it, it's plagiarism in academic world. Like you take a quotation from another writer in your PhD thesis,
Yeah.
but you don't credit it, then you're stealing it. If you credit it, you're using it. Because you value this quotation. It's important for your work. It touches you. And, somehow, not emotionally probably because it's a PhD thesis, but like academically.
So at Yeongdo, you recorded some sound from Yeongdo, and then you did I tried to find a video of a result, but I couldn't find.
There's no video. Well, there's a video, but it's not online. But it might. There's actually a short video, which was who videoed it? I think Himin videoed it, but I don't know if they will probably feature some part of it on their YouTube channel, the Rice Brewing Sisters Club. You should check them.
Okay.
There are lots of photos. You can see them on the Rice Brewing Sisters Club Instagram account.
And you're satisfied?
Yeah, it
about the
was
result?
great. Yeah, I liked it because this was actually a workshop. It wasn't only a recording. We actually recorded. We went to the harbor area together. We recorded the sound,
Yeah.
and then took the recording to the workshop area, listened to it, and analyzed it. Like we just listened to it and said, "Oh, this is the sound of a dog. This is the sound of a car. This is the sound of the sea. This is the sound of a truck. This is the sound of a human walking. This is the sound of a motorbike." And then we created a very simple graphical note score out of it, and then we tried singing it. Like we were pretending they were cars or motorbikes or seagulls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that was because the singing part is, of course, for fun.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a professional singer to do it. You don't have. It doesn't have to be good. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny, actually, ridiculous in a way. But it's basically a listening exercise. Because if you're outside, walking in the streets of Seoul, unless it's a very sharp sound or a loud sound or an alarming sound, you don't really pay attention to sounds, especially if it's the city you're from. You're used to it. Your brain just blocks it. You just it's just in the background. You don't really listen to unless you walk to listen to it. Like it's with intent. Many things are about intention and intent. But if you go to a location in Seoul or in Busan or in Istanbul, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
with the intention of going there to listening to the sounds and to record those sounds, then you're really listening to everything that goes on there, right? Humans talking, cars running, you name whatever the sounds in that location are.
Yeah.
And then when you take that recording back to, not back, like when you take that record to somewhere else that is not the original location, right? Then you listen to it. It sounds entirely different because you detached it from the location, right? And now, because it's, when you walk, the sounds are instantaneous. They happen and then they vanish, right? There's no memory of them. There's no record, but a recording is actually a memory. It's a document. So you can play it a million times if you want. You can listen to it over and over. So that means like you actually really, maybe for the first time, listen to what was going on there sonically. Sonically, like sound, what the sound world of that location is. It could be the harbor, it could be, I don't know, the palace area in Seoul, or like in Sadong Street, wherever, like, you name it. Because all these locations have their own sounds somehow.
Yeah.
Mostly cities have a very similar sound. It's just cars and people. But like some of the locations have their own sound print.
You're someone who prefer to wearing headphone while you travel, or?
It depends. In Seoul, I've never worn headphones yet because I want to listen to the city.
Yeah, it's not a surprise for me because.
But I actually, like in Berlin, sometimes it depends on what I'm after. If I just want to be like walking, and I never. The thing is, when I listen to music, I don't listen to random playlists. Right? I don't have a playlist.
Okay.
I actually listen to an album most of the time.
Okay.
I just put an album on. It could be a pop album. It could be an avant-garde album. Whatever. It could be a hip-hop album. Kendrick Lamar or Radiohead or Pet Shop Boys or John Cage. Right? Doesn't matter. Whatever the mood is of the day. And I walk and listen to this. But I never used noise cancelling headphones yet. I don't know how they work.
I just wanted to mention noise cancelling with headphone because I kind of tried 1 or 2 times noise cancelling headphone. What I felt was this day became really individualist. So people are more individualist. So people want to even while they walk in the street, they want to be just alone, in the bubble or something like this, because it's totally different. I feel like I have a total different experience than someone who walks just next to me, because with the total different sound is make a different experience.
Yeah.
So because maybe you tried, because it noise cancel really totally. So I feel like I'm in a concert or something like this. So for me,
I actually thought of getting one because it works really well on airplanes. I heard from friends because airplanes are loud.
Yeah.
And if you're like on a 13-hour flight, which is the case from Germany to Taipei or Seoul, then you want to listen. You can basically put them on just for the sake of like canceling the sound. I mean, I'm very good at blocking doesn't filtering sound out, so I doesn't mind it that much. But still, it might be interesting. But I don't. As I said, I can't really say anything because I never tried them. Maybe I will go to love it. Who knows? Oh, this is amazing! I can actually listen to music out on the street as if I'm in a concert hall. This might be amazing in sitting in a cafe working, maybe, to block out the ambient music that they're pumping into the cafe. Who knows? I don't know.
But I'm really sure that you understand really well the mechanism, how they cancel the noise, this machine.
I think what is it like? Is it inversion, like phase inversion or something like that? No.
I ask you because I don't know.
I also don't know.
Oh, okay, because I heard that the headphone make certain sound to remove noise from exterior.
I mean, I know how noise reduction works offline, like not in real time. You just, we recorded white noise because you're going to sample it. Yeah,
I know.
It might be a version of that. Because there are now fast enough microchips you can put in the headphones that can do that almost in real time. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's constantly listening and there's some mechanism of because I don't know, because I don't know how much of the noise gets cancelled. I really don't know.
Because one time I have an experience with this noise cancel headphone. I went to Subway and then I was listening pornography.
Okay.
So weird feeling, because can you imagine? It's so weird feeling.
I mean, I'm not against it. I don't care if people but the thing is, if I want to listen to music very intently, without distractions, I probably wouldn't do that walking anyway. I would probably sit at home and listen to it, with headphones or on my speakers. I have pretty good speakers, so I can also listen to music at home in a pretty good quality way. If I'm walking, it's a mix of having this music, also to think about the music, but I don't mind the distraction from the outside world. I don't mind, and why not? I mean, if a car comes, It's not a big deal. Because I'm never listening very focused. I'm walking. I mean, and I'm looking at things. I'm already distracted by visual stuff anyway.
Yeah.
I'm distracted by this dog or this person, this tree. These are all distractions. That's why I was like, remember what I was telling you about looking at a screen while playing?
Yeah.
It's the same. Like if your other senses are constantly bombarded, like if let's say if you're at home listening to music very carefully, and you suddenly get a smell of something burning because you're an idiot and you left something in the oven, you will get distracted.
Yeah.
Then the concentration will be off. You're going to say shit and run to the oven and save your place from burning.
But the motivation that you like started to making a sound and other thing was because wasn't it because you were kind of geeking in a certain culture? You were like consuming again and again the same culture. Because I became like this because I was too geeking too much with a certain culture.
I mean, my mom tells me that I was always interested in sounds, even when I was a baby. And I was fortunate enough to have parents with open minds who could also afford, not with ease, but could still afford to get me a computer when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And then with that computer, I discovered I was already listening to electronic music without being aware of the electronic aspect of it because there was pop music all around. This is the 80s, right? So lots of 80s music.
I don't know. Yeah.
So that was like the pinnacle that was the first high point of electronic music in the world because synthesizers were suddenly affordable. People could buy them, like use them in music very easily. Yeah. So... And then I discovered computer game music with the Commodore 64 I had. And then I started, this is interesting. I was interested. I was always like kind of playing something when I was, I had a toy piano, then I had a melodic, I had a very old Casio keyboard that I still have. It's like, I think now 40 something years old. And so one thing followed the other. I got a computer, then I got a better computer that I knew that could make better music. So I started sampling, recording stuff, and like changing them, and it developed. But of course, if another musician went through the same process, will they become me? Probably not. They would maybe not even like this process. They would say, I want to play a saxophone instead. This is ridiculous. Or they would combine the two. I don't know. But I was, of course, in a way geeking out because I was also trying to program the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Like I was writing code in my own very limited capacity.
Yeah.
This is the day of no internet. The only information you had was magazines that were released in Turkey. Or if you were lucky enough to find a book that was in English. I mean, my school was pretty good, so I was actually able to access books in the English language.
Yeah.
But so I was in a way geeking out, yes. But
So you are more you are always more producer than a consumer.
no, well, it depends.
Because you're always
Well, if
playing.
I'm eating a Snickers bar, I'm a consumer. We're both. No one is only a. I don't know. If in case of music, no, because I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of music. I go to concerts, and I also listen to a lot of recorded music by a lot of bands, as much as I can. So I don't know. I don't like these distinctions. Am I a producer or a consumer? I'm both. We're all both.
Because
I mean, if you're an artist, if you're a visual artist, you are a producer when you produce art. You're a consumer when you go to an art opening. Well, or you're just there for networking. You don't care for the art, but you just want to be seen. I don't know. These distinctions, I don't value them too much. They don't mean much to me.
I started to making art, air quote, because I was, believe or not, I was interested to fashion.
Okay.
I don't look like, but at the time. But I was really big consumer of fashion because I don't wear kind of like this, but at the time I was always buying a clothes. But that's why I was kind of teenager, so I believed that I want to make clothes. I want to become like a fashion designer or something like this. But so I tried. I went to school of fashion design, but I really didn't like to making a clothes or something, because at teenage time we don't really know what we like to do and what we like, you know. So, the thing is, I saw this kind of like a thing with the other like a student of fashion design, because they don't really know if they want to like a consumer of fashion or just designer of fashion. Yeah. So that's why I asked you, because
I mean, as a fashion designer, if I were a fashion designer, I would be a pure producer if I only wore my own designs. But then I would have to design everything. I would also, if designing is not only, it's not the whole creation. Somebody has to make it.
yeah.
So even if let's say I designed this amazing dress, skirt, shirt, pants,
Yeah.
and I had someone make it,
Yeah.
and I'm wearing it, I am still partly a consumer. Only if I design it,
Yeah.
sew it,
Yeah.
bake it, and wear it, then I'm 100% producer.
I can't.
And then
yeah.
I also have to do the fabric myself too, the cloth. Like I have to also like get a loom and make the fabric. I also have to raise the cotton in my own field, pick it up myself. We are all consumers and producers. There's no such. I can't say that if I'm more or less of something. I am using instruments made by companies in Japan or in Hong Kong or in the US to produce music. But this means in order to produce music, I have to consume. Like there are some purists in music. They say they build their own instruments, right? And they say you're only a good producer if you build your own instruments. There was even this guy who I think is an idiot. I won't name him. Who said like 10 something, you're not a true musician if you're not building your instruments, which is the stupidest thing you can say. But because he didn't think about he was an instrument builder, right? Which he was building electronic instruments, but he was not. Yes, he was bringing components he bought from other companies together as an instrument, but he was not building these resistors, these capacitors, these cables, this by himself. So he was also a consumer. He was also using some things that other people built to build stuff.
Because people confuse between like a artist and a artisan. What is it?
Yeah, artisan or engineer or builder. Yeah.
Yeah, because people get confused between two things.
You can be both.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, yes, there are people who build their instruments and they like. This person was basically like, he was saying that like you have to be a true musician, whatever the hell that means. You have to build your own instrument. So you have to build a fucking piano to be a pianist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is of course absurd because I mean, yes, a single person can theoretically build a piano. Yes, of course, if they have the enough machinery and everything, it's not impossible. I mean, most instruments are actually built by a human being, right? So it is possible, but yeah.
So when there is this kind of like criticize in your entourage,
Yeah.
Usually what's your reaction? Because my reaction is ignoring, because at the beginning I was kind of debating, but now I don't have energy, I don't have time to debating, and I don't have a desire to make understand these people. And also I don't even get hurt. Now I really don't get hurt because I just let them living like that. It's not my life, you know.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on who says it, how they say it, huh? If they are like, if they pretend that they know everything, and if they are in a position that would affect my life, I would probably talk differently than if it's someone that's not really important in my life and I don't care.
just
Like,
ignore.
you can, whatever. Yeah, but I'm an argumentative person. I'm a grumpy person. I'm an argumentative. I like complaining about a lot. So I would probably start a fight with them.
Still now, if I
Why not? It's fun. What
To
else is
fight.
there to do? Like, you can just like sit there, like look at him, like, or just just punch him in the face with words, not with actual punches. I don't know. I mean, these are also big challenges. I don't know what I would do. It really depends on where, how, who, when, why.
Yeah.
These are all like, or how I'm feeling that day. Am I happy? Am I feeling miserable? Am I angry at something? These you can't make rules out of these things. It's almost impossible. I don't know how I would react. Of course, like making music like that, the play what we played like half an hour ago. Of course, you learn to ignore the criticism. But what I tell them, are you criticizing this from someone who knows this music or who doesn't know this music? If you're judging my music because you're a big fan of improvised music, the way I play it, then you're welcome to criticize. If you have never heard this before, you can still criticize. I'm not going to shut you up. I'm not going to like stop you from talking, but I can't really take you seriously if you just say me that this is horrible music, because that is then really purely a personal instant reaction that I can't. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to ignore you, but I won't take this as a constructive criticism. I can't, because what does it mean? Like, this is horrible. What does it mean? What is horrible?
It's
We're going back to the same things we talked about. So it's all. I don't know. I think I think people take us seriously as much as we are serious.
what does it mean?
Like, if I say things in a very meaningful way, if I criticize someone's music in a very meaningful way and also friendly way, right? Then they would take me seriously. They would listen to me. They might not agree with me. They don't have to agree with me. Because this criticizing thing, like there's this music critic, right? Who are these people? They are just people with their own taste of music. Yes, they probably listen to more music than the average person, but they still, at the end of the day, have their own personal taste in music. Right? Like there's an organizer in Berlin who is a jazz, like free jazz and jazz organizer. He doesn't like electronic music. He will never book me. He likes me. It's not that he doesn't like me, but he will probably never book me. Even though I played in his venue once. But
it's the essential side of a creator, get criticized because we have our opinion.
Criticism is always, it's not only about the creators. Like, it's, you can criticize your friend for being a jerk.
Yeah, that's true.
You can criticize your friend for, I don't know, dating that person who you really don't like. You think like this is a horrible person. Why are you dating this person? We just criticize. We just, even skipping a video on YouTube is criticizing.
Yeah.
This what is this shit? Next. Swiping on Instagram. That's even that is like, you're passing a judgment. You're making a judgment about that video, which is also a micro criticism. It's like it lasts like 2 milliseconds, but it's there. Like, you just whoop, next. Tinder, OkCupid, all these dating apps. You're just criticizing. You're judging. This is ugly. He's ugly. She's ugly. They're ugly.
I think the worst gesture of hating is ignoring and not to pay attention.
It's just that is and it's not always possible. Can you always do it?
Yeah.
Always, you can always ignore. Are you sure?
I mean, personally, I kind of
Because you know why?
Why?
If you were able to do it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. This would be not be a topic.
I don't understand.
If you could really ignore people like this all the time, we wouldn't be talking about this. It would be a non-issue. You wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Yeah, because personally, it happened something recently.
Yeah.
And I got kind of ignored for like 1 hour or 2 hours or like this. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I try to ignore.
Yeah.
But I try to ignore. I try to acting like I ignore. Because I know that if I acting like I ignore, these people gonna hurt more than I fight. So
you can't ignore being ignored.
sometimes I can't. I really
No
can't,
one can.
because I'm sensitive person and I'm an emotional person. But I like to I really try hard to acting like I'm robot. Especially when I work, especially. Like today I wear a sweater and today I wear like jean. Usually I wear like a shirt and like a jean and kind of this thing.
Yeah, you came.
to acting
You looked
like,
pretty corporate when you were at my concert.
to acting like I'm robot. It's not me.
Robots don't wear shirts though. They're usually naked robots.
Yeah.
You should. I'm a robot and just go naked because robots don't wear clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you're not a robot. You're just a man in a suit.
But getting emotional with people sometimes it shows like my weakness.
Yeah. Well, do you have to be strong all the time?
Yes.
That's a terrible life. I don't think
yeah?
so.
Sometimes I should be weak.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what you should or should not do, but I like being weak. I think it's human. I think it's, because trying to be something that's because if you should, because we will always be weak at some instances. If we try not to be weak, we're trying to go against, like we're faking it, as you said in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're faking yourself. You're
Yeah.
like deceiving yourself. And that's also a big stress. Like I know this person because when I was pretending to be a man, like a male man, like suit, jean, shirt, I was always in stress.
People are signing to contract with these people. That's the only reason, It's just a capitalist reason,
Yeah, but I mean, yes, but
I don't like it, but
I mean, what I did was I was able to get out, right? At the end of 2008, I just resigned and left corporate life.
Very brave.
No, it wasn't brave because I was actually living in an apartment that was owned by my parents.
Yeah.
I was not paying rent. That's already a plus. I had to make everything else. I had to make my own money, but I wasn't paying rent, which in Istanbul is a big thing. So it wasn't. I mean, it was. Compared to what other people achieve, I wouldn't call it bravery. It was the only bravery. It was in a society like the Turkish society where you're expected to have a proper job, and a musician is not that. Like I was a kind of a consultant, right? With suit. I had a job. I had a title. I had a business card. I had a car. I had like a proper job. I could you can say I could identify as something that people would understand. I am a consultant. I do work in international consulting projects. I am so fucking important. Wow, like look at me, kind of like thing. And suddenly leaving that behind in Turkey was not easy for many people. But I was not brave because I did not have any children. I still don't. So because like if someone who has children to take care of, right, they can't always quit jobs as easy as I could. Right? It's impossible because you have to pay for
it's
these.
really difficult.
Yeah. So like that's why I for me it was actually, compared to many other people, it was very easy. I don't think as like, it was only social courage in a way, like to quit a life of status and just go down to being a musician who they makes no money in Istanbul. It was almost impossible to make any money with this kind of music, and just become a translator to, make your money. For me, this was perfectly fine. But for many people, actually, when I first I quit business life twice. The first time was in 2003. People couldn't believe it. So they actually, at the end of my last day at work, they asked me to do a speech to them, like why I was leaving this life and becoming a musician. They couldn't believe it because I was making lots of money. I was working in a beautiful plaza in downtown Istanbul. I was traveling a lot, Switzerland, with business and everything. I was, I had status. I belonged to a social class of people who were not the 1%, but I was, for my age, pretty high. They really couldn't believe it.
They thought, what is the reason? What is the real reason?
They don't know. They couldn't understand. How can someone leave this amazing job? And it was actually the largest consulting company in the world, right? Marsh McLennan was really big. I don't know if they're still the big. I don't care. To do this kind of music, they could which I understand, by the way. I mean, from their perspective, it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah,
you should just have to say that you're a hippie.
No, I said I was happy, not hippie. I don't like hippies. Sorry. No. It's a big generalization, but I mean, I don't like the general hippiness, this thing. But they can do whatever they want, but I don't feel myself as a part of that world.
But why you don't like hippie?
I don't like their approach to life. I don't like there's this sense of spirituality they construct around themselves. But let's not talk about that. It's a very we don't have to judge other people.
No, it's good.
I just don't like the culture that much.
Okay.
It's not my world. So yeah, I mean, they couldn't wrap their heads around why would this successful consultant leave this amazing world of money and prestige and cars and fancy dinners and traveling for this weird thing. And I said, I couldn't really explain. That's what I do.
I mean, there is a lot of questions like at the level of money and capitalism and then job subject. How do you think about? You think there is another solution apart from capitalism, because socialism is kind of quite failed.
The only solution is humans becoming extinct.
Extinct? I don't know this word.
They die. We all go.
That is exactly what I think.
That is the best solution. That's the end of capitalism, because before capitalism, the world was not a much better place. I mean, it wasn't an amazing world for people. People were not living in prosperity and richness and plentiness. They were actually living horrible lives still. The horrible, like, most people still live, I think, maybe bad lives, but it's a different bad life. And actually most people are, at least in certain parts of the world, are suffering less now. They're happy. They have their cars and beautiful apartments and blah, blah. They have social status. They can smoke good cigarettes. They can, whatever. And by the way, being an artist, especially in a country like Germany, does not get you out of capitalism.
Does that what?
Does not get you out of capitalism, because the funding we get, the money doesn't grow on trees. It comes from taxes paid by highly capitalistic companies, right?
Yes.
Weapons manufacturers, pharma companies, IT companies, you name it. It's all money that comes from them.
Yeah.
That we get to do our fancy, important, dear art.
Yes.
It's a highly capitalistic product.
Yes.
It's just indirect. I don't see much of a difference between a hedge fund funding a startup and a government funding an art project with the money they take from that hedge fund.
Yeah.
It's the same money.
So you believe that without capitalism, there is no artist, or different from of an artist?
I mean, all these, like, if we look at music and arts, like these very important names in music and art, like Leonardo da Vinci, Beethoven, they were all supported by the aristocracy, right? They
Yes.
are known. We know their works because their works were bought or sponsored by the Medicis, the Habsburgs, and these fancy aristocrats.
Mecen,
Yeah, I mean, they were all almost. I think, as far as I know, all of them were actually. None of them lived in poverty, unless they were like they went in, like, became alcoholic, or they fell from favor of the aristocrats. They were they were let go by their patrons.
Like artists acting like they have kind of holy job, but exactly it's always like always related by money.
No, but I don't think. I mean, none of the artists I know think that their job is holy. No, they're just
okay.
doing. I mean, most artists do their jobs because they can't do anything else, because they don't. They have always been somehow outcasts. Like they've never really had the willingness or the mental. Let's say no. Well, they were basic. They're people who were not built for normal jobs.
You know, it's really like a luxury thing to capable to say that I'm not built for other job.
Yeah.
Apart from an artist, it's really luxury thing, you know, because it's not everybody who has this choice, you know. Even if they're built kind of different than the other guys, it's necessary.
I mean, I can tell you one thing. This is kind of a joke, but 50,000 years ago,
Yeah.
a person who only has the skills of an artist wouldn't probably live a long life, because they can't fight. They're not
They can't
entrepreneurs.
hunt. Yeah.
They can't hunt, or they have very poor hunting skills. Let's say. Let's assume this character, like, maybe this is not true, but they would probably like not live. They would be eaten by a lion. Like, oh, this yummy artist, let's eat this.
But you live lived much more longer than me, but you know much better than me. But in the life there is often the worst situation, like financially and like a family issue or something like this. But I feel like I'm 35 years old. I feel like there's more and more like a very critical story. It happened to my life, and that I couldn't really imagine it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But when I fell in that kind of situation, like I kind of adapt myself to survive from that situation. So I believe that if this artist person, weak person, get in this kind of really worst situation, if he's really, really, really like weak, yeah, he's gonna get eaten by a lion. But like 90% of like an artist, maybe get the other job or something, no?
But we're talking about 50,000 years ago. There were probably not that many jobs at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is, of course, a joke. I mean, because being an artist does not mean that you don't have other skills. Of course not. Like, if the fact that you will never be able to be a doctor does not mean that you don't have any survival skills. No, of course. A lot of artists I know have amazing physical skills. For example, they're like either strong or they can build stuff. You know, most of the visual artists, they can actually build. They have very good building skills, so they could maybe build weapons. Like musicians maybe are the weakest because we can't build shit. Most of us, we just play.
We can make happy to others.
Yeah, or sad. By the way, I think I need to go now.
Oh, okay.
It's 5:40 almost. Is
Don't
that
worry.
okay? Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, thank you for coming. You have a last word for...
We are all going to die, so don't worry about too much. It's, Korean, Venezuelan, Turkish, we're all the same. We're just we're just like masses of protein with existential issues and anxiety issues. So just chill out. I'm trying I can't always chill out, but I'm doing my best.
And I agree with you.
Eat less meat.
You're
too
vegan?
much. No, I'm pescatarian. I eat fish, so I'm also guilty. But still, meat is not good for you. It's
Okay.
unhealthy. But then Koreans live forever. Maybe I'm wrong. Koreans live forever, right?
I don't know, maybe until 70 and
No,
75.
the average age is like pretty high here.
Oh yeah?
But then you guys don't make babies anymore. That's the problem. So
We're gonna all disappear.
you're maybe the last of the Koreans. Maybe the Koreans will go extinct. You should make more babies.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of baby
Make
for you.
Yeah, not for I don't want your babies. No. I don't like babies. I mean, I like babies, but I don't want to have babies. I like them. I like other people's babies because I don't have to smell their shit and I don't have to send them to school. I just like
Sometimes.
the baby starts crying. I say, "This is broken. Take it." And
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bye.
Bye bye.